Hello team, today we are going to review Streamline Server Release version 2026.6.0. So let's begin. Our first major enhancement is the new future termination date feature. This feature allows planners to define a future date when replenishment for an item should stop, while still allowing the remaining inventory to be sold normally. Previously, termination was tied to the forecasting model, and with this release, termination becomes a standalone setting available directly on the forecasting tab. You can choose between inherit, no, yes, or specify a future termination date. Existing projects using the legacy termination model will be migrated automatically. Once the termination date is reached, Streamline will stop generating purchase, transfer, and manufacturing plant orders for that item. Existing open orders will continue to be processed as normal. As inventory is gradually consumed, Streamline monitors available stock and incoming receipts. Once cumulative demand exceeds available inventory, including stock on hand and open orders, the forecast and all dependent calculations are automatically reduced to zero. If additional inventory is received later, the forecast will resume automatically. To improve visibility, terminated items display dedicated indicators in both the tree view and explain inventory calculations. New filters for terminated items and termination dates have also been added, along with support for importing termination dates through the item info table. The next enhancement is plan and start date. This feature is designed for product introductions and phase-in scenarios where planners want to build and review a forecast before replenishment begins. A new plan and start date setting is now available on the Forecasting tab next to the Model Type setting. User can choose between inherit, live, or specify a future start date. Before the plan and start date is reached, Streamline will not generate plant orders, simulate sales, or consume inventory. Projected inventory remains unchanged at the current on-hand level, and revenue remains zero. However, the forecast itself remains fully visible, allowing planners to review and refine demand expectations before the item becomes active. Dedicated indicators are displayed in both the tree view and explain inventory calculations to identify items waiting for their planning start date. Planning start date can also be imported through the item info table and used as a filter. If both a planning start date and a termination date are configured in a conflicting manner, Streamline prioritizes the termination date and displays a conflict indicator. The third major enhancement is use sales history from. This feature allows an item to borrow sales history from another item and use it as a demand signal for forecasting. This is especially useful when launching a new SKU without historical sales data or when replacing an existing product with a successor item. A new use sales history from setting is now available on the Forecasting tab. Users can choose to inherit the setting, disable it, or select another planning item as a source. When configuring the source, you can define a multiplier and determine how overlapping sales should be handled using the source sales, own sales, or sum of both. When configured at higher levels of the planning tree, sales history is automatically distributed across matching child nodes using proportional allocation logic. It is important to note that borrow sales influence forecasting only. Revenue calculations, KPIs, and APC classifications continue using the item's own sales data. Borrowed sales are displayed using a distinct visual style in the actual sales row, and the forecast analysis table shows the effective sales used by the forecasting model. Dedicated icons are also highlighting items with an active sales history source. Validation rules prevent circular references and self-referencing configurations. If the source item is removed from the project, the relationship is automatically disabled. Several additional improvements have been introduced in this release. The changelog now captures forecasting settings changes at the individual cell level, providing a more detailed audit trail of forecast-related adjustments. The non-moving inventory value KPI is now available as a dashboard widget and can be added to customizable dashboards. Additionally, the Edit Connection Settings permission has been renamed to Edit Integrations to align with the new integrations menu structure. Several integration enhancements have also been added. Users with Owner, IT Admin, and Streamline support permissions can now download complete server log archives directly from the application. Preview operations and CSV exports can now be cancelled while running for NetSuite and database-based connectors, and the Seller Cloud connector now supports importing to ship orders. This release also includes multiple bug fixes, performance enhancements, and UI improvements across the platform, helping deliver a smoother and more reliable planning experience. That's it for today. Thank you for your time, and please let us know if you have any questions.